Feels pretty good to be back. It's September 23rd. We're about a half an hour from where we're planning to hunt. Just kind of getting out here late afternoon. Had a football game this morning, and Pronghorn and in season, and wasn't sure I was going to make it out this year, but just doing kind of a long weekend, about 2.5 days or so. So it's going to be tough, but it's just fun. Kind of get out here and just see this beauty of the western side. It's a little dry, but that's actually going to be a good thing. So we're going to try a couple different tactics. Got a buddy that last second decided he hadn't really bow hunted much, and he's just getting into it. So he wanted to kind of see what this is about. Didn't realize it's the toughest hunt out there, in my opinion. But we're going to have some fun and do a little truck camping, just take her easy and get a little, probably scratched and banged up a little bit. Hopefully no rattlers. That's my biggest fear about out here, but it's kind of fun. I've learned to kind of respect them. Anyway, going to be good weather the next couple days. Yeah. Here we go. We're finally in the goat country. It's looking pretty dry, but there's a lot more growth. It's kind of calmed down though. It's going to be a little loud. Well, we're striking out. Covering some big country. Been a couple miles already, but trying to use the sun as it's setting. It's a good scouting mission. It's just as valuable not finding them so we can strike it off if they're not down here. A rough start. First full day, and it's more covering country and big country. Kind of scratching one off the list. Feels really good a couple years ago, but I'm thinking the numbers are down. They're starting to get a little discouraged, but just got to keep after it. Just telling Ryan, got to push through those slow spots. We'll get on them. I think we need it. Is there any train back on the other side where we get like, down like to the, like where they're heading? Like we could almost go past and then come in. I mean, stay in the ditch, I think. Alright, we got a pretty good buck. A couple does back here. We've tried this before. It's a pretty good piece, but they like to hang up on this where it's tough to get in on. But there's a pretty good ditch here. We're going to try to go back with the decoy. We might even go back out into there's some taller kind of bindweed and stuff. Must be getting bumped off this walk-in or something.
That might be a little looking right at us.
this is interesting. We're trying to hunt some private, and they're pulled off to look at a couple water tanks, and this big buck was out in this row crop on walk-in. Now he's running right along. I actually dropped Ryan off, and he's on the walk-in, but this goat's trying to run this fence line. If I can get him to turn around and run back the other way, he'll probably go right by him. He's right there on the fence. Ryan is. It's a good buck for walk-in for sure. I didn't have the GoPro going, so I kind of stayed low, and that pronghorn was up here and Ryan was up on the road. So I just busted it to this water source, got right here. Stayed out of sight right as just got down in here. The wind's coming across. So I knew it was going to be going at him, so I was like, I got to get past him. And so I tried to get this last cut. That's where you'll see that video. Bounced around a little bit and ended up right here. I could see his prongs coming over that, and I was like, I'm going to get right behind this thistle. Absolutely sick. Again, just when you think these guys can't get any more into your skin, I raced down here to this pond as Ryan, it was almost working. That goat was going back to Ryan. Man. Well, and I decided to run down to this water, and it's perfect cut bank right here. He was heading right to it. He's actually heading back towards Ryan right now. But I'm not kidding, guys. He came right at me. You couldn't ask for a closer shot on a pronghorn. He was coming to the water, and I found these cuts right here. Would have been perfect, but I got behind this big old thistle, and I was using it, but I had to keep my eye because I didn't know which way he was going to go, left or right. Right was the water, but he came right at me. He's seriously 10 yards. I came to draw, full draw behind this bank. I'm not going to live that one down. But when I come to full draw, I could tell he could see my riser, and so I come creeping up, but I couldn't get up high enough. I knew he was going to bolt at any minute. I just couldn't. He was so close. Something blew up. I don't know if I just hit this thistle hard enough and it deflected, or the ground, but it didn't sound right. And I mean, I should have smoked him at that distance. And sickening run out there. He's perfectly fine. I'm gonna see if this thing's heading back towards Ryan. He's a nice tall one. He's been a good public man. I don't carry any goat, especially getting our butts kicked like we have been. Just sick. I'm gonna go look for this arrow, but that was fun. Probably you can't ask for any better, so that's my shot. Well, then I moved over here because I thought he was gonna go north, and I was like, I'm gonna stay here, and that probably cost me because I come right here and I'm pretty sure I either hit the thistle or hit the ground right in here. Probably cut some grass off, but pretty sickening. We'll try to find my arrow. I don't think we'll get a closer shot. He couldn't have been more than 10 yards. He was like right in here. I don't know how I got the full draw. I basically was down here, and then I just come up real soft, and he let me at least get the shot off, but I was still scrambling to get my pin on him or low enough. Finally in some different big country. We drove around and went to quite a few other pieces. We got permission, and not seeing much for critters. The numbers are pretty low, but it's a good buck right there. We're in a big piece. We're going to try to maybe circle around this one. It's definitely more stockable country than here. We'll see. I'm still trying to get over my heartbreak on that last deal. That was chip shot gimme. I thought there was two. And then this other one's trying to meet up with them. Oh yeah, there is two. He's gonna meet up with them. Well, we've got really good terrain, but
buck that got ran off by that other buck guarding a doe. And he must have been heading to another draw and just happened to get in line with this cut we're in. He's on to us. We're going to see what happens if he'll just calm down. But we're going to see which way he goes and maybe go after that buck that was bedded with that doe. He ran that buck off pretty good, so we may pop a decoy up on it and do the same thing. That's a cool buck. Gosh dang it. Just got caught wide in the open here. Gosh dang it, it's on a different side. Maybe he'll go meet up. Let's just hold tight and see what he does. He's looking at those other ones. Maybe. No, he saw us walking. Dang it. Hoping he'll go join up with those others. When he gets out of sight, we could drop down to the left there. Just kind of duck behind something for a minute. I think we got a hot doe up here on this hill. That's a different buck, and actually the one facing us might have even been another, so we're definitely into him, but we've got the topography here. We gotta play it safe. We're trying to find a good cut in here where we can get this sun when it drops to get behind us, and we might just kind of try to cover one of these drainages. Alright, Ryan's right around this bend. We're gonna play it kind of safe. These bucks are running other bucks off. He's gonna go there, and we're gonna up our odds. There's a big trail that comes down right here. We're hoping when they go to water, it'll be up here. Another trail here, and we're gonna use the shadows. As the sun sets to the west, there's a big set of rocks up here I might get to. There's a yuck up here I might set underneath too. Just a good vantage point. And I got a couple different ditches I can shoot to. Alright, I'm gonna go blind right here. This yucca behind me is perfect. Once the sun sets, I can kind of move with the shade. About 30 yards as this trail feeds right here. We're gonna try it for a couple hours and meet up. Just sitting up here, kind of soaking in this view, and after getting into all these pronghorn up here, man, it has me rejuvenated. I was so sick all afternoon. This morning's deal, just kind of turned into a crazy event all of a sudden. I was really kind of trying to see what that buck would do, and had Ryan set up and thought he was going to go towards him. When he broke down towards that pond, it just turned into scramble mode, and it was fun. But I tell you what, you put yourself in those stalks, and that is a blast. I had to creep so low to stay out of sight and just bust tail to get down there in those cuts. And without doing that, it wouldn't have even been a chance. So you got to kind of remind yourself that, it's about how close with bow hunting, man. And I'll tell you what, that was a rush. Having a buck in that tight, less than 10 yards. I'll be anxious to see that GoPro footage. Still don't know exactly what I hit, but I like our odds in this. I got really today and tomorrow for sure. We can keep hunting this. We're going to play it safe here to start since we got what we think's a hot doe. Hopefully we'll have a close encounter. It's the morning of the 25th, and I've got like a little bit of a pit blind I built here with some yuccas, pile up some brush. I had it here a couple of years ago, and it was destroyed, but it gives me a really good kind of a bench. There's several draws that come together, and this bench is down right here in this one spot. So had a couple close calls here. It's just a really good pasture, but had 3 really good ones with a doe yesterday in another section, quite a ways over, but they were running this area too, so I'll probably sit this out the first part of the morning. I might go try to sit some water midday. Yesterday was my chance. I blew it. So get to relive that. That's always tough, but hey, you never know. We're in pretty good country here. Well, I decided to make my way up towards some water that I had on the map, and so we're There's two little kind of ponds up here. There's a little bit more moisture this summer, so I'm gonna try to find one of these shelves to maybe set up a grab line. Be a long shot across, but it's okay. I'd like to get an eye on something at least. Well, I'm going to use this cut bank here. Hopefully this decoy will draw them on this side. I just have to do it because I can't get too close enough to that pond with the sun coming up. So I'm going to sit here up to about midday. We'll see. Just anything I can draw on these horizons. There's a couple big draws. I should be able to see it. But this little bank is perfect. Basically dug out a spot here where I can get down. Really covered up both ways. If anything, I'm going to have my head on the swivel. It'll be right on top of me. I just got set up and I look across here. And there's a buck. It's a smaller buck, I think. He just ran down in this ditch, but he was staring at the decoy. He was coming in the water. Just ran to the right. I don't know if he's going to come in this little ditch right here and be right on top of me. If so, but I didn't get any video. Any buck at this point's a shooter. Any pronghorn. They're too good. I'm out here just getting absolutely baked. It's probably, I bet it's 90 already, but it's supposed to be 93, I think, today. They gotta be thirsty, but I don't know. It's just tough. It's mentally just a tough deal. That smaller buck earlier, that was about 9 o'clock, came up and over, and he was on his way down. But I just gauging by the size of the bucks we saw in here yesterday, I'll bet you he didn't want to fight. He just kind of skirted and ran up and out. These cows have kind of been back and forth too, which hasn't helped, but I feel like I'm covered up really well. Just trying to stay locked in and just making sure I'm on my toes. That's the toughest thing, and it's just a mental deal. It's so calm, I just can't be spotting and stalking. I'm going to do this probably today. May go sit on another little bench tonight on some trails, but I might try this again in the morning. I just feel like this water is going to be a hot spot, even though it's hit and miss. It's just, I'm trying to increase my odds with these conditions. Well, it's noon, and I was just about ready to slip out of here and go to a new spot. But I look south, and there's actually a pretty good herd. I think there's 6 or 7, so they're pretty far away right now. But they kind of act like they're working this way, hopefully up here to this water. I don't know, we'll see. Had quite a few does, it looked like, so that might be trouble with this decoy, we'll see. I was just eating lunch, swapping spots here. The sun was baking me over that other one. It's more of a morning only, I think. I'm going to try it maybe in the morning, but just sitting here grabbing a bite real quick and seeing this buck up on the horizon. Real similar area to where it was yesterday, and that's where I was headed, was the same setup up on that kind of a point. If he drops off of this or down into this, I'm going to grab my stuff and go. Just good to see stuff moving. They're cruising and covering some country in this. I got settled back in here. This yucca blind, I'm calling it. I brought in a shovel. A little bit of work, but I wanted to make sure and get a good level spot here, just so I could make it more comfortable. Last night was sliding down the hill, and I think I'd be a lot better. That buck was just about 2 little ridges over, so I think, and there was another group of hunters going after him, I think, so there's a couple different bucks in here. I'm hoping they'll keep moving like that, though, because that'll get them moving in these draws, and there's water right down here below, and I'm going to sit in between the 2 closest water sources that are ponds. Never know right now. I'm just kind of trying to play the odds. It's back to the mind games. I was sitting there, I sat all afternoon, saw that coyote, started thinking about our last, sits there, other than, the chasing that was going on when we got here yesterday, but I think that was just kind of a small little sample. And I saw them does, this morning over by the water, and I just started second guessing myself. I've got a little bit of a sit in the morning, but not a lot. So I'm going to make a move over there real fast because it's real close to where I can get to, and just set that out. Even though the sun's going to be kind of in my face, I just like my odds there better. Going to give that a shot real quick, and then I'll get back in there in the morning, but hopefully it happens tonight. I mean, that buck wanted to come in there, and I had the decoy. I'm going to go decoy-less. So I'm going to take the decoy down this time, and just that way, hopefully anything will come to that to drink. Who knows? Last hoorah here. I'm just going to give her a go. sick about that. My gut was telling me I needed to get back to the water, even though I liked that bench I was on. But on my way over here, there's a pretty dang good buck, and he dropped right down in here. I don't think he ever got a drink, though. He started to get down, and then he went back up, and he headed the other way, so I'm hoping he wraps back around. Maybe he'll come up and get a drink here later, but dang it, I should have went with my gut there. I don't know, late afternoon. But, yeah, that's hindsight. That's these things will drive you nuts. That's a pretty small one, but man, he came down and drank, and I couldn't video over there. I was just waiting for him to come across on this side. It'd be a 30-yard shot. There's still a chance, but I think he's feeding away, and he's going to go the other direction. But we'll see. I'll shoot that joker in a heartbeat. Last evening hunt. Oh my God. It is just about end of legal shooting line. I heard a bound right behind me, and I turned around. There was a dandy right here. Goodness, he was a giant. I'm absolutely disgusted by that. I could not get turned around. I mean, he was right here. I actually heard him bust. Like he must have smelled me or something, but he was right here. Startled by it, actually come to full draw. And he was right here on this horizon. I just took a guess. I thought he had to be in more than 30. But when I shot, it was going right on line. But then I watched him duck. He ducks it, and so he probably was 30, but I had it between my 30 and my 40 because I just thought he had to have bounded out there a ways. Went right over his back. Thank God I was shooting light at not, but just had a few minutes left of legal, and it was, that would have been icing on the cake. That was a big buck. Final morning sit. It's going to be a tough one because I'm reliving that ending last night, but my hopes are not all lost. That young buck that went across, I feel like that's the same one that came through yesterday morning and didn't like the decoy. No decoy this morning. Not holding out too much hope that that big joker comes back, but boy, if he does, it was pretty awesome. Just kicking myself now looking at that yardage and how far he was actually within about 10 yards here. Looking at it now, I thought he was about 20. And I remember watching that lighted knock. It was headed right. It would have been high low probably, and he just ducked it. It's etched in my mind forever. This is gonna be a tough one to kind of wear off unless we pull off a last minute miracle. I gotta leave here at about 9:30, so it's gonna be tense couple hours here, just paying attention. Hopefully get something coming. As much as I hate to do it, I gotta finally throw in the towel. I didn't think this morning was much of a chance, to be honest, after that mess up last night, but thought I'd take a chance to kind of show you what happened out to daylight. Basically just got a pretty good little cattle path that's a washout with some yuccas and then some stuff I kind of added to it. Just perfect for everything out in front where you want to have it in with a water setup. I don't typically like setting water, but it's been so hot and dry. I kind of lost my mindset on it yesterday midday, so I moved, and then gut instinct almost paid off. The problem is I want anything to come in from the sides, and there's a main drain that comes up this, but sure, if I just kind of happen to turn my head, I think I was just looking, all of a sudden I heard something flip and turn, and in one motion I grabbed my bow, clipped into my release, and kind of turned on my knees. And I drew these cows right here. And right here, he was right here. No, he was actually probably 10 yards. Well, I just assumed he probably, you're thinking your mind's scrambling, and I was thinking probably 20 is where he was, and then he ran out to probably another 15. So I put my 35, which is between my 30 and 40 pin. And when I shot it, it looked good. That lighted knock looked awesome going to it, and then he just dipped and it went right over his back. And that was the chance of all chances, even though it's just the worst case scenario of him coming straight at me, straight in on me. Almost like the one the other day on the other public piece where that goat came right at me. That's just how these things are, man. They almost have a sixth sense, or what can go wrong will go wrong. But it was fun. I'm excited to get back and see the family and kind of relax a little bit. This stuff wears you out, but anyway, make the trek back home, watch the kids play some sports, been missing that, so.
Oh, making the long trek home, just kind of enjoying the western Kansas landscape one last time. Got to thinking, a little bit. I've obviously missing those bucks really hurts. Doesn't wear off too quick, but in hindsight, looking at it, really the numbers overall are just kind of a little bit concerning, and I felt very fortunate to get 2 shots off. I mean, shots that most guys probably end up sealing the deal. However, I will say putting yourself in those situations is not an easy task, so got to hang my hat on that. And really, I don't know, I kind of hope, they've been in major droughts. I'm guessing that's probably their way of kind of saving on, fawns, kind of like deer and stuff like that. So hopefully they kind of get back into a better pattern and start growing that herd back. But it's been a few years since I've been out, but it was really good to get out and do that. So hopefully they'll keep growing, and I'll make my way back out again later, but probably not in the near future just based off of that. But who knows? I'll be itching probably to go back tomorrow. But it was a lot of fun, and definitely memories etched in there. Didn't get much footage, so apologize for that, but it's always good to look back on.